sound. All right, I think we'll just get started. All right. Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Chasing the Whimsy. I'm your host, Ben. So, we are currently live streaming, and normally this is like Whimsy Live. I've been doing it about twice a week for the last, 2.5 weeks. So, we got some stuff going on. I don't know if Liam's going to be, I don't know if we're going to be able to record this week's episode. So I'm going to record. So this Whimsy Live will be episode 36 for Monday's drop. So a couple of important things to remember for all of you guys that are here hanging out right now. Totally appreciate you guys. It is kind of fun to do these live streams. Like I said, I've been doing it for about 2.5 weeks. So there's 2 online right now, 3 online right now, and then there's like 3 more that I pulled down. So so you're watching this one, you'll dip out. You guys don't have to stay the whole time, obviously. But I do appreciate you guys hanging out in the chats and just hanging out for a couple of minutes. But this will be episode 36. So when the episode drops, you'll probably already listen to most of this. Feel free to re-listen. I need them views. So, and then you can also give me some feedback. Like, how do I sound right now? How are my levels? Like, my volume's good. I always kind of worry about what it sounds like. And then, because I'll take this, I'll edit it down, and I'll put it up on Monday. And then sometimes, like, it's weird to hear the sound a little bit on some of these episodes. Hello, 7 people now. Feel free to say hello in the chats. So with this being episode 36, again, Liam may or may not be here this week. Obviously, if we get into it and we want to record like an episode with him with episode 36, like by all means, like we can. But I figure I'm live streaming, I'm hanging out. Like, let's worst case use the episode. So let's give a couple of updates what's going on. So I know that Liam has been hit or miss coming on. Been any of the live stream, the stuff that he did last week, real distracted, and so just want to kind of give a last week we tried to ask Liam how what's going on, what is he doing and stuff, and he's kind of just like, he was really excited last week to hang out in like the new backyard, do the live stream thing a little bit, so he was excited for that, but then he just gets like down, like not like depressed down, just like tired down. Let's see. So here's what Liam's been up to. So here's what we couldn't get out of him. So his schedule is he's wrestling like 2 or 3 days. Let's see. He was wrestling with the junior high kids, and that season ended. And then he was saying he was wrestling now still, but we're like, well, what happened? I thought the season ended. What's happening is, as a junior high kid, the junior high season has ended, and now he is like practicing with the high school kids. So he's doing like practices, weightlifting, and just doing the whole wrestling thing from like 3 to 7-ish. Like 2 days a week, if not more. So he's like, so he's got school, like he doesn't even get home until 7. So he's learning. So now his mental is like tired. Now he's going to wrestling, and now his physical is tired. On Wednesdays, he goes to the high school, like competitions, like the little meets, those little tournaments, and watches them, spectates, hangs out, just doing the whole teamwork, supportive, rah rah thing, right? And so he's hanging it. So now Wednesdays he's hanging out after school with the high school kids at their meets, doing the whole supportive thing there. I think last week he hinted at like not only is he just watching them, but like at the end of the tournaments, he has to help put everything away, put the bleachers back, roll up the mats and stuff. So he's doing that. Then Saturdays they got more competition stuff, and he's going. And I think he's competing in more of those Saturday ones. So I talked to his mom a little bit, and we both are super happy that he's super focused right now on wrestling, and he's putting in a grip of work. Like, let's see, who is ML? Sophie says hi. Hello, Sophie. So he's like really focused, and what's nice is like he's really dedicated to his team and his craft as a wrestler. So that's kind of why he's been, we'll say, different on the podcast a little bit. So sometimes, like when I get him on Sundays, like he already had like a killer week, and then Saturday he's wrestling, and he's just like, so when I get him on Sundays, sometimes he's just like a 13 man. Like I just don't want, like I've done everything during the week. I need one weekend day. Just let me do my nothing and just hang out. So, you know, huge supporter for Liam and doing his wrestling thing. So I do appreciate that he is focused. It's interesting. When we first started this podcast, you know, one of the things we were worried about was like his commitment to the podcast, and it was kind of up and down a little bit. But what's interesting is to see him focus and commit to the wrestling side of things. So, like, obviously, we would like him to be like a fraction of that here at Whimsy, but he's 13. He's a kid. He found something like he's passionate about, and you know, so you know, huge kudos to Liam. So you know, we've talked about this a lot in the early episodes and kind of like the whole idea of Whimsy, which is like this is what family does. You know, Rhiannon used to run like cross country for a little bit, so obviously maybe she wasn't around as much in high school because she was focused on that and the whole sports thing. Can't really fault anybody for that, but it was good still to see her interested in an activity other than just like her brother who just did nothing. He just played video games all day. So yes, we'll see where Liam is this weekend. Maybe we can do like a live stream tomorrow for a little bit and just get some hangouts and get him just to hang out for a little bit. Because I enjoy this live stream thing. It's different and weird, but I'm enjoying it. I got 8 people hanging out with me today, so I appreciate everybody hanging out. What else is going on? So, like I said, today, episode 36. It's in the description down here. Old man's directions to TESD Town. So, I guess we'll talk about what next week will look like. But I figured we get some business out of the way real quick, or some updates on the businessy stuff. What is going on? I feel this. JJ has a renewed investment in Taekwondo, and has to make sure that he knew it was okay to miss class every now and then and do other things. Yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, to be fair, it's funny because up to like a year ago, like I was flaky and just doing whatever. And kind of just doing like my thing. But JJ and Liam, like, they're literally doing the same stuff that we all do as adults, but for whatever reason, because they're 9 and 13, to be like, you have to commit. And then it's like, I barely commit. Like, I'm supposed to do chores this weekend. I didn't do nothing. But no, it's interesting. I guess that kind of leads into part of the businessy stuff. So we talked a little bit last week and during all the live streams, and I'm just going to keep pounding it into like the ground for a while. Is the idea that Whimsy wants to be, not just a podcast and a live stream. It's like this whole idea of a community, and with that idea of a community, a lot of it's going to be like hanging out, interacting with all of each other. Huge support from like Nikki Rhiannon, Kelly, some people at work with Andy, Christina, but it's now, how do we expand beyond that? So like, how do we get Nikki and Rhiannon to be like, hey, friends, family, like Rhiannon, like how funny would it be for Rhiannon to be like on her motorcycle ride? And then like, hey, everybody, you should listen to my brother's podcast. I think that'd be cool. Try to keep it friendly and fun for everybody. But this is anybody can listen. You don't have to, but like we're in a pretty good spot. Like we hit some really cool milestones lately. We hit the 50 subscribers on YouTube. I think we're at like 55 now. I think we hit like 4 new ones this week. So it's, how do we continue to expand? And part of that's going to be this idea of community and everybody helping each other. With the kids, JJ, Liam, anybody, so like there's 8 of you in here. Most of you probably parents, but it's going to be like, good job on Liam for finding wrestling. Good job on JJ for finding Taekwondo. Now, what do we do with all these other kids that don't want to do anything? They just want to play video games. They just want to sit and play on their phone, or they're lacking that like little bit of drive or that little bit of like that passion for something. And one of the things that, like, as a community, what I'd like to start trying to do is, we talked about it a little bit early on, and we'll find a way to iron out some of the details. So I'm throwing it out there now. I know we're only at the end of January. Summer school isn't for like 3 more months, 4 more months. But I'm gonna start floating ideas out there that says in the summer, I'd like to run like a small summer camp idea, and I'd like to offer anybody who's interested, parents, kids, whatever it is you'd like to offer our services as a podcaster and a now YouTuber. And this summer, we would like to offer setting up anybody who wants to do it. We will record 4 episodes for you guys for free, and kind of just get you guys like whoever's interested. If little Billy wants to hang out with little Johnny, if they want to do a podcast about kickball and they think they can get a couple of episodes out of it, I will offer to hang out with them virtually, similar to what we're kind of doing here now using StreamYard. I'm going to start plugging some stuff to see if I can get some kickback from these guys. But StreamYard is a really fun program that we use to live stream. And so on Mondays, for example, I'll get with little Billy, little Johnny. We'll Zoom in or we'll StreamYard in, and they'll just talk to each other, do their podcast, and then I'll sit behind the scenes. That's kind of like the tech guy. I'll be mute and just let them do their podcast. I'm talking for half hour. And then what we would do is I'd save it. I'll pull the video, I'll convert it down to an audio, and then I'll create a podcast just for them, just like we have on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple. We'll create the whole thing, and then every week for the 4 weeks, I'll load each episode up for you guys. I'm currently in the process of doing that for JJ. It's going to be like, for example, I'm trying to figure out a cool podcast name, but it would be like the Adventures of Yellowstone. So instead of me putting up JJ's episodes on Chasing the Whimsy, what we'll do is I'll go in there and just create the Adventures of Yellowstone, read by JJ, and then every week he can send me the audio recording, or he can call me via StreamYard, and we would just like record his podcast. And then at the end, I do the same thing. I'll take the video, convert it down into an audio, and then I'll post it. So now, it's something different to do for the summer. There's a lot of stuff where, like, summers are not this like what they were when like me and Nikki Rana growing up. Like, we would go outside for hours. We'd break stuff. We'd get into shenanigans. But kids don't do that anymore. So if they're just going to sit at home all summer, maybe we convert it into a little summer camp for just the podcast thing, where be lazy, do nothing, but maybe you can take an hour out of the week, hang out, and let's start creating something. Part of the idea is, like, there's some episodes where Liam was super engaged and super excited about something. I know when he wants to do some of the video game live streams, he gets a little animated, and has some fun with it. JJ, like, when he was reading his Yellowstone stories, completely different person from like the episodes that he was on the podcast. This whole idea of Whimsy, this whole idea of this community thing, and this idea of finding more people to start podcasting is helping people to identify things that they're passionate about and want other people to be passionate about. There was I should have wrote it down and I didn't, and I'm not going to try it. Chris, lame. Don't know what. But yeah, this idea of just keeping people passionate is doing something. Now, along the same lines of that community aspect, right, is finding people that have, like, it doesn't have to be podcasts. Like, it doesn't have to be the audio aspect of it. Maybe you like to make stuff. You like arts and crafts, and you want to start doing more of it, right? So, for example, I got this really cool thing right here. Is Christina at work? Hey, Christina, you still here? You were for a second. So she likes to do arts and crafts. Now she's got a Cricut, and she's playing with some stuff. She's offered to try and make us some tickets. Adriana, hello. And what she did for us is this last Christmas, we took JJ's story, transcribed it, edited it just a little bit, and threw it into like a book. So, and it's like one of these ideas of like this community says, like, don't know how to do something, so let's talk about it and let's see if we can find somebody that can help. So I had this idea for JJ for Christmas. It was like, how cool would it be if we like made a little book for him? And then I was like, I'm looking into like publishing, and it's like how do I bookbind something? And I'm like, oh, this is too much for me. And when Christina says, hey, I know how to bookbind, right? She's like, I know how to do stuff like that. So I worked with her for a minute, and JJ for Christmas got a little book that has like all his story in it that we printed out. So now what's super fun is Christina wanted to do that, helped out, and it was fun for her. So now she's engaging, and if anybody's watching, it was like, oh, that's a really cool idea. I don't know how to bookbind. I have a story I would like bound. Now, boom, now you reach out to Christina, you reach out to me. Now everybody's helping everybody. That's the whole idea of this whole community thing, right? But like what I like doing with all of this stuff, right, with this Whimsy community, is I ask for like a small thing, and then it's amazing to see how much people take that little request and they just build more and more and more on like the passion of whatever it is that you're doing. So for example, Nikki, like she was like, oh hey, I want to help out and do I need to work on my hands. Like, what am I doing with my hands in front of my face? Like, but Nikki was like, hey, I want to help out and do something fun. So she does, she paints rocks, QR codes them on the back. And she does like little things like that. But it wasn't just one rock. She made me like 12.5 rocks. And she just had fun with it. So Christina made a little book. And she was just like, hey, could I do something a little extra? And I was like, sure. And here's what she did. Ready? Look how cool that is. So now Christina, now she's passionate about something. She's like taking like a really simple basic concept, because this is like how I think, right? Because I'm like, this is what Ben does. Kind of basic. And then it's inviting others to make this better into this. There's very few copies of this book. JJ has one. I have one. And there may or may not be at least one more copy somewhere. But what if we watch, like, what if you guys get all interested and you're like, oh, I want a JJ copy? Or as JJ's podcast, starts to increase and put out more stuff, and his story starts getting really crazy good. Maybe people are like, I want a full story of this guy's book, right? And we'll figure it out, and then I'll get with Christina, and then we just make out like a slow limited run. Maybe she does like 15 or 20 of these things for anybody who's interested. Not that like we think, one, how cool if like JJ does like become like the next big. I'll give me some authors like. Clearly, I don't read that much, so. But like, what if he does turn into like a Rowling? He gets into like some other stuff, and it does turn into a book, or it turns into a movie. Like, how cool would it be to be like, hey, I got a book from like Neil Gaiman. Thank you. That was a better one. But like how random would it be? Like 15 years from now, like JJ's like, I got a couple of books unpublished, and then to be like come out of the woodworks and be like, I got the JJ original from when he was 9, big bucks. What else is going on in the community stuff? Chris, we talked about Chris on the last couple of weeks, and he's enjoying Whimsy. He's listening to the backlog. He's helping out with the social media stuff a little bit. What's his company now? What's it called? Creatively Christopher Media. So he's working on promoting like his stuff, social media stuff. And what's interesting is I'm working with Chris. He's helping with the social media stuff. So now I can see what it is that he does, and I can help promote him a little bit. He's now has some work that he can like display that shows some of the examples of what he does. But now it's also like, all right, cool. He does social media stuff. He does some light um, audio editing, video editing. He's making commercials for a couple of local businesses. A lot of like ads, um, like web ads for a couple of different websites. So, you know, he's got a certain skill that I don't necessarily have. So we're just going to try to piggyback off of each other for a little bit. So instead of Chris being like, here's my price sheet, I know that I typically work with like high-end motorsports, motorcycles, RVs, and you know that I work in the higher end of business like companies. So here's my price guide for a little nobody podcast. And it's like, well, clearly I'm not going to pay, you know, X number. Like I'm not going to pay $200 a month for social media stuff. So he's figuring out like as we kind of work as like this like quasi partnership. I'm getting something from him with the social media stuff. He's helping me expand on that. He's building his portfolio, and now we're just working together. Now, what we do is as we build this community, right? So now we run a summer camp. We'll get say two kids who are interested in creating their own podcast. So now, you know, we help record it, we help post it. Chris helps advertise it through the socials, and at the end of the month, if you guys want to keep going with the podcast, you know, maybe it's like, all right, Chris, now you take over summer camp and you work with them because I got Whimsy. I got like an empire. I got a Whimsy empire here that we're trying to build a little bit. But I want to offer some help where I can. And I really want to focus on helping people find that one thing that they can be passionate about and wants to share with other people. We got some, there's a guy, we talked about him a little bit in the early episodes of the podcast. His name is Jay Sarge. So shout out to Jay Sarge. He does some music. I don't know how to play a guitar. He creates like podcast intros, and he's got like a huge library. Like I went deep dive on this guy, right? Like I'm looking up his blog, I'm looking up his couple of his Bandcamp, SoundClick, and just looking for all of his music. And he's got like a huge library of stuff. And if you're not familiar with like Bandcamp or God forbid SoundClick, like how are people supposed to find his music? So, I was chatting with him recently, and he mentioned that he's got a new album coming out, and he wants to start updating more stuff on YouTube. So, I almost know nothing about music, how to compose and put it all together. But, he had mentioned, like, yeah, I want to put stuff on YouTube. We currently here at Whimsy have 128 videos on YouTube. So while I'm talking to him, it's kind of like, hey, you're passionate about music, but you're not you're not good at the tediousness of uploading it. Like, how do we put up like a music like if you put it on YouTube, right? It would be nicer if there was a video, like a music video to go with it. So he's like, no, I don't know how to make a music video. He's like, I don't want to so he ran into this roadblock a little bit where I reached out to him and was like, hey, we're Whimsy. You and I have talked a handful of times, but what I'd like to do for you is send me the audio files. Let me work on a little program. Let me work with Chris a little bit. And then what I do is I take the video, the audio, and there's a couple of programs. You put it in, and now what happens is we make the audio and we create like a digital like um, like music video for him. Nothing big or crazy, but as his song plays, we work on creating like these little videos for him, so that way he can put them on YouTube. And now he's got a music video for his new album. So I offered that. He's thinking about it. He likes the idea. He's also doing a couple of other little things that we can talk about next week. But he was passionate about music. There's an aspect of it that he doesn't like on YouTube, of like taking the time to convert everything and make these little music videos. So as Whimsy, we offer that. You know, like, hey, I'm not saying I'm gonna do your whole library together, but he's passionate about something, and if there's something I can do to help him get more stuff out there, I'm gonna do my little part. And you know, maybe it turns into something. Maybe you know, anybody else's kids, maybe Christina's kids are like, hey, that's pretty cool. I like music and I'd like to learn how to do this like music video thing where it's really easy. You just put the sound, the audio file online, and it like AIs itself together. It's like one of those things like the music video. So like as the beat plays, like the lines move, right? It's like boom, 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 and then it flashes different colors. So like Christina's kid's like, oh, that would be interesting. I like to know how to do that. And it's like, cool. I will help you now learn how to do it. So now I can kind of take a step back. And now Christina's kids work with J Sarge to create more music videos. And now they build this relationship. And then, you know, we find ways to help each other. And if we can turn it into some kind of like, nothing crazy, like some kind of like, pay, like share each other's services. You know, it's like J Sarge is like, cool, Christina's kid, you know, this is new for you. So, you know, how about we kick you back a couple of bucks for this? Great, cool. So now it's something that Christina's kids can like expand on, learn how to do. And now that they have this, now we advertise that Christina's kids do this. And now we find other musicians who want more music. We're just building a community, man. So anybody who's passionate about something, whether you want to do it video, audio, you want to make something, you want it, you know, whatever it is, reach out. Let's see, reach out, let us know what you want, what you're thinking. So there's our website, it's our email address on the screen there. Any questions, comments, email us, whimsy@chasingthewhimsy.com. Any parents want to get their kid in the summer camp idea, I'm going to push it for the next couple of weeks. I don't know when summer is, so it'd be like once a week in May, June. We'll set up and hang out and record like a little podcast for them. So, all right. I think that's all we got for the business stuff. We're just looking to build community, man, and expand Whimsy, and then just promote your guys' own stuff. Let's see what else is going on. So there's 6 of you. I probably should have said this when there was 10 or 11 of you guys. So of the 6 of you, if type in the chat Whimsy if it's something that you think you can do. But of the 6 of you, the goal here is to ask that the 6 of you tell one new person about Whimsy, Chasing the Whimsy, and get them to subscribe to the podcast and YouTube. So 6 of you, one person, type into the chats Whimsy if you think you guys can help promote Whimsy, one person at a time. How funny would it be if nobody? Hey, Evil Broccoli here, already done. Nope, one more. See, that's the beauty of like this whole like thing is Evil Broccoli does it once, and now it's like, can you do one more? And it's always about this idea of just going one more and slowly building this community. If the 6 of you guys can do that for me, then we go from 55 to 61 literally overnight. And then next week or Monday, when I live stream again Monday, if we get 9 more people, I can get those 9 to just tell one more person to subscribe to the podcast and to YouTube. Then we're, oh man, where was my, I don't know where my math is. Now we're at like 79. But like slowly and surely, we'll just build it up a little bit. But yes, help out if you guys can. Spread the word of Whimsy. We're not just a weekly podcast now. We're a twice a week live streamer. So I enjoy these live streams. Evil Broccoli hangs out for a little bit every once in a while. Kelly hangs out for a little bit. And Christina does. Adriana hung out a little bit, I think once before. So I appreciate anybody and all of you guys hanging out. Rhiannon, thanks for hanging out. I don't know if she's still here. She probably dipped out. Hey, are you still here, Rhiannon? I'll find it where she's like, no, fuck this. No, I don't want to do this anymore. She's like, it's supported for a minute, which is fine. That's all we look for. I do not expect any of you guys to hang out for the full hour and a half that we're going to record. I just appreciate the little bit of time that you guys come and hang out. This will go online, so you guys can always go back and rewatch it. Nobody, no whimsies in the chats. Nobody can commit to one person. I know you guys will. We're doing our thing. All right. So get the business out of the way. What we can do is, what is going on this week? So episode is titled Old Man's Directions to TESD Town. And look at that. We got one person. Evil Broccoli says she will spread the word of Whimsy at least one more time. I appreciate you. Podcasts. The podcast is anywhere that you listen to podcasts, and on YouTube it's just Chasing the Whimsy. So they're easy names. Send a tweet, send a text. Tell people like, hey, take a look at this thing. This is my silly brother, my silly aunt, my look at that. We got Nikki. She shall try in Whimsy. Yay, Christina. So thank you guys. You guys are all pressured into it and be like, well, I want to be the only person, not in the chat. We'll just tell them we did. I don't know. It's a slow build, but again, it's one of those things. 6 turns into 12, turns into 24, turns into 48 within like a week and a half. 4 live streams, we could be at like 100 and like 200 people, and then it just continues to grow. Episode 36 is Road to TESD Town. Liam came up with an idea a little while ago when we were setting up all the socials hey, Nikki. So look, we get all of our socials down here so I don't forget what they are. When we were setting up the socials, right? Like Liam was like, hey, Liam, help me out. Set up the Instagram. So he goes in and sets up the Instagram, right? Now, as a 13-year-old, you tell a 13-year-old to help set up the Instagram. They don't know, like they think they know what they're doing, but they have no idea what the hell they're doing. So he goes in, he doesn't remember the password, he doesn't remember the username. He just remembers that the name on the account was Chasing the Whimsy, spelled with an EY. And I was like, I don't think it's spelled with an EY. He's like, I'm like, so what's the password? He's like, I don't know. So we couldn't go back there and change it. So I was like, all right, well, fuck this. So I just created my own. And I was like, so I redid it, spelled it with the right name. Eventually, I helped him figure out how to get logged in. So we're driving. And then he finally gets into the EY account. And we were looking through it, and we're like, okay, there was a couple of followers at that point, but it was still really early on. So we had like 5 or 6 people. And what was funny was we had Ming Chen from Comic Book Men on AMC, a con staple these days. He's at a bunch of cons every weekend. Huge social media. I guess he would be kind of an influencer, but he's doing a bunch of stuff, right? He hits the cons. He was on TV show. He's promoting like crazy. Podcasting. Kevin Smith. He's got a podcast studio in New Jersey, a shared universe. So Liam's first account, right, the EY account, we're looking at it, and I'm like, Liam, I said, I think we fucked up because Ming Chen is following us on the EY account. I said, like, Ming Chen's a cool guy. I said he's got like a bunch of followers, and he's hanging like it's kind of fun to be like we have a Ming Chen following us. So we were like, I'm like, what do we do? And Liam's like, I found a chat, like the Instagram has like a chat function, I guess, like a messenger function. And Liam's like, he's online right now. I said, no way. I said, all right. I'm like, let's do me a favor. I said, message Ming Chen because he knew it was who we were. But I was like, message him and let him know that we spelt the name wrong and to follow us on the regular Chasing the Whimsy, the new one. So he texts him, and Ming Chen's like thumbs up and then subscribes to the new one. We're like, woo! And then anybody who listened to episode 1, Liam's like, let's just keep texting the guy. And I'm like, I don't want to keep texting the guy. You know, like we got him to subscribe to the correct account. We're not like we've talked to Ming Chen at least one other time prior because he helped us set up the podcast. So Liam's like, you wanted to talk to him. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, it's weird. I'm like, this is why celebrities don't like to follow like no-name podcasts because it's like, why are you bothering me? So we were thinking about it, and I was like, all right. I said, we can't just say hi. I said, like, maybe there's a question we could ask. So we settled on, thank you for following the new account. Hey, FYI, would you be interested in coming on to episode 37? And he replies, yes, he would come on to episode 37. And this was back at like episode 12, maybe. So we were already looking 20 episodes ahead. Like that's 4 months, like 5 months away. Right? Like, so we were excited. Liam's like, oh, cool. We got Ming Chen coming on to episode 37. So I got a big calendar, and I'm trying to figure out the dates of when episode 37 would happen. Early on, we were posting like 2 episodes a week every once in a while. And what was hard is trying to keep everything to like once a week because I can't. Because we did the math, right? Or not the math. I guess it's calendar math. Is episode 37 is going to be like mid-February, and then we dropped a couple of 2 episodes 1 week, and then it's like, all right, so now it just keeps moving closer and closer. So part of the idea was we did drop 2 episodes a couple of weeks, a couple of times, so I can push the 37 closer because we were excited. We're like, let's get to 37 faster. How do we do that? Let's just drop 2 episodes a week. Let's see. Well, he is a kid in nature. He's want to be nonstop, talk to celebs. Yeah, he wants to just talk to celebrities. But what's funny is like if you get him face to face with a celebrity, they all just clam up. So whatever. So Liam and I start talking about it, and we're like, well, what do we do for episode 37? And he's like, well, we got Ming Chen. I said, okay. So what if we did like something else at 37? So what if we just like, what if we get like a Brian Johnson or a Q from Impractical Jokers, Walt Flanagan from The Secret Stash and Comic Book Man? Like, what if we got a couple of those guys? And he's like, yeah, right. I said, yeah, I agree. Because episode 1, we talked to Brian Johnson, where he talked about us on his podcast. So our relationship with Brian Johnson and Donald Steve Dave already was that we doxed them, and they were kind of like semi-quasi irritated, but they had some fun with it. So Liam and I start thinking, and we're like, fuck it, let's just ask. So Sarah makes the webcomic, and one of the webcomics, the first one was the undoxing of TESD, right? So the comic looks like it's older Wim texting Brian Johnson the end of the conversation from the podcast, right? Which was, hey, sorry that we texted you. And then Brian Johnson says, no worries, not a big deal, right? Panel 2, it's Big Wim laying down on a couch, all like starstruck, texting, and it's just like, and then split screen. So you got Brian Johnson, who is like ding, 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 and it's just multiple questions. It was like, what's your favorite color? What are you doing? You have plans this weekend? What's your favorite food? And it's just like, just bombarding him. And then the third panel, Brian Johnson is like, Mary Beth, I think we got to change our phone number. So Sarah created that webcomic for us. And we sat on it for a little while because I wanted to put out a different web comic every week. So it was one of those things where it's like, all right, let's get 10 comics together, or 10 weeks worth of comics. And as we drop them, she can continue to draw. But it gave us like 2.5 months of ready to go content. And so we had the webcomic ready for like a couple of weeks early. So I told Liam, I said, like, we got to be smart about it. Like, a lot of people, when they talk to celebrities, ask them really stupid questions, or they ask them like really weird, unreasonable like requests. Like how often do you think celebrities are like at a con and someone's like, hey, do you mind doing like a FaceTime video for my kid? And it's like no, I don't want to. Like, I'm at a con, I'm walking around. Like, there's like some things that people are like, I don't know who you are. If I do it for one person, I got to do it for everybody. So obviously I'm not going to start like FaceTime chatting you because I don't know what it is that you're promoting or what you do or who you are. So a lot of celebrities are like, no, that's not my thing. Sorry. So as we got the webcomic together, and we're still thinking about episode 37. We got Ming Chen from Comic Book Men. We want somebody from Tell 'em Steve Dave. I personally would like a Brian Johnson for our first guest. Obviously, a Brian Quinn from Impractical Jokers would probably be like the cooler one. But we have this idea. So as we get closer to releasing the webcomic, what we did was we dropped the webcomic, issue 1, Undoxing of Tell 'em Steve Dave. And then we took that comic, we posted it all over the socials. And then I tagged Brian Johnson and Tell 'em Steve Dave in all the socials, Ming Chen, because they're all best friends. And then I sent an email to Tell 'em Steve Dave and was like, hey, here's a copy of the webcomic we just posted. We love you guys. Like, it's basically equivalent to fan art. And Nat was like, hey, you guys talked about it on your podcast, episode 562. And, we'd like to have you guys on. And then, what was it? We got a reply that was like, the first reply was like, maybe hit us up, like let us, like, not right now or something. But not like a hard no. Enough that right around Thanksgiving, November, I re-emailed them and was like, hey, we want to do something for episode 37. We got Ming Chen on. Ming Chen hangs out at Tell 'em Steve Dave every once in a while. He's on a few episodes. A lot of memorable moments in Tell 'em Steve Dave within that little universe. Ming Chen is there. So I emailed back again. I was like, hey, we're serious. We're still doing the podcast. We're getting up to like the 30s. We want to do something fun for 37. And we get a, yeah, sure, we'll come on. So Brian, so somebody from Tell 'em Steve Dave was like, yeah, sure, I'll come on. So now it's kind of like, all right, cool. We got two people within the TESD universe. And then it turns into, well, what do we do? Like, what does episode 37 look like? Because I don't want to try and schedule Ming Chen and Tell 'em Steve Dave on at the same time. It's kind of like weird. But then it's like one of those things too, where it's like, Liam, I said, I don't think people like a Ming Chen or a Tell 'em Steve Dave, they don't want to talk about their own stuff all the time. Like, we can't have these guys on and be like, hey, what was it like to be on TV? Like, that's such a dumb, basic question. So I'm like, let's figure out like a better way to like to angle this idea of this podcast, this episode 37. So we eventually end up settling on episode 37 will be a 3-part, and it's going to be different people within Tell 'em Steve Dave, TESD Town. So we got one person coming out on the 5th next week. J Sarge from early episodes. I talked about him, his intro, Liam noticing the different intro from the podcast, and just like as a 40-year-old, right, who's like contemplating everything. It starts to, like, just a huge shout out and a thank you to J Sarge. He was like, hey, because of your intro, me and Liam now watch and love Tell 'em Steve Dave. We do everything Tell 'em Steve Dave. So we got him. We got Ming Chen coming out on Wednesday the 7th. We talked to him for almost an hour. Liam's hanging out. We're engaged. So Liam's in all these interviews, right? So we got episode 37, 3 parts. We got a guy who does the intro music. What does he do? And it's not like, hey, you do stuff with Tell 'em Steve Dave. What is it like to hang out with Tell 'em Steve Dave? It's not about that. It's this community. Like, Tell 'em Steve Dave has built a community in which they have people coming out of nowhere who like, I like your podcast so much, I'm going to make you an intro song. And then that's how J Sarge stays involved. And then Tell 'em Steve Dave is like, we want to do a movie. We want to do all these projects. And then let's get J Sarge to do it. So J Sarge is getting, he found some work through Tell 'em Steve Dave. He was passionate about music. He's passionate about Tell 'em Steve Dave. So he does something. Tell 'em Steve Dave builds a community in which now J Sarge is the resident music guy. Tell 'em Steve Dave, they have a Father Lance, who's their designated priest. They got Troy, who's, I guess, a detective in New York. So now Tell 'em Steve Dave Town has a cop. And they created this weird, fun little universe within themselves of Tell 'em Steve Dave Town. And they identify all the different residents of Tell 'em Steve Town, Tell 'em Steve Dave Town. And that's kind of what we're doing here. I don't know what is a large gathering of gnomes like. Is it a murder of gnomes? Like, how cool would that be? But they've been on for like 13 years now, so Tell 'em Steve Dave. So we're like, all right. So we got a really fun interview with the music guy. What is he like? What does the music guy do? Like as a person, what does your family look like? And we have a really fun, interesting interview there. Wednesday, we got Ming Chen. He's fantastic. He was a great time. We talked to him for like an hour. He helped us out early on in the podcast, so we're just catching up a little bit, and we just had some back and forth. Liam had a good time was engaging with him too. And then on Friday the 9th, the last episode of 37, I think I hinted at it a couple of times, but it may or may not be somebody from Tell 'em Steve Dave. And that interview has not been recorded yet. But it will be ready for the 9th. So episode 37 is a 3-parter, and it is just going to, they're all Tell 'em Steve Dave centric guests. And as we drive through, Tell 'em Steve Dave Town, we're just going to start hanging out and just interacting with a couple of members from Tell 'em Steve Dave Town. So that's kind of the idea behind the episode. Is it's something that Liam and I found a passion for. Tom, Steve, Dave. We like their podcast. We like a lot of the projects that they've done. Like I said, they've done like a puppet theater, like a full length, like an hour and 25 minutes, like an hour and a half of just puppets. Like they take a podcast episode. Hold on. We're gonna try something real quick. So let me see real quick. I need someone to vamp for a minute. So this is all word dead air. And if I do this is going to be for anybody who's watching. So the people that are listening, you could probably Google it, or not Google it. Find them on YouTube. You can find a couple of these random clips. Tell Steve Dave. Let's see what. I don't have Puppet Theater on my computer. Boo! Okay, so now we're in YouTube. I'll put the link in YouTube so you guys can see what I was talking about. Hey, I don't know who did it, but we are now one extra subscriber since this live stream. So I appreciate all you guys and whoever, got someone to subscribe. Huge thanks. That's awesome. Tom, Steve, Dave, Puppet Theater. And let me see if I can find a semi-appropriate one. Probably not. So we'll just do it anyway. I'm just gonna pick this one here. All right. So we pause it. We're gonna go back over here. We're gonna share a screen. And we're gonna show you guys this YouTube. And we're gonna play it. All right, so in theory, you guys can see this, right? Okay, yeah. All right, so here is something that Tom, Steve, Dave did.
And irony, which is what TSD has always been about. We make points using black humor, like stomping on a baby. That's a joke. I'm so sorry I had to spell it out to all you fucking idiots on Twitter.
You're talking about us?
Yeah, you too. That's what it was about, Q. It was that I've just rubbed your fucking noses in my shit.
Bad dogs.
Like, obviously, a little bit more on the mature side of things, but that's what Tom, Steve, Dave does. Is they hang out. It's just a group of friends hanging out, and as they hang out, they come up with weird, stupid ideas of like, what if we took an old episode of an old random game that we played, and we have someone do puppetry behind the episode. Tom, Steve, Dave Puppet Theater. You can find it on the website. It's hilarious. It's funny. Puppet. I think Walt has 2 puppets. It runs, like I said, like an hour and 20 minutes. Different scenes from the podcast, and then they hired what the hell's this guy's name? David Thorpe Winters. Thorne Winters. Yes, pulled it. Thorne Winters reached out and was like, hey, we do puppetry and custom puppets. So Tom, Steve, Dave works with Thorne Winters, and they create an hour and 20 minute, hour and a half long puppet DVD that means nothing to any of you guys, but because Liam and I are big into Tom, Steve, Dave, we bought the digital version. We bought a DVD version of Tom, Steve, Dave Puppet Theater. And within the Tom, Steve, Dave community, they sold it for like $20 during its original. And now in the aftermarket, because they did a small run, like $90. Like, so it's little stuff like that. Christina likes to make arts and crafts. She likes to bookbind. we find somebody else who's passionate about something. Megan likes to write stories. She does the writing program. I think it was monthly or is it yearly? But she writes a different book like once a year. And now she's like, I really like this one. I want to get it bound. And now we get with Christina. Christina binds them. We talk about it on the podcast. We make a limited run of 20 of these things, and then we sell them. And it means nothing to anybody else, but within the Town Steve, the Whimsy community, it is awesome to know that you guys got like a Megan original novel. We got a JJ original novel. Kelly likes to crochet. Maybe she makes some crocheted gnomes, and now, you know, we give out or we sell, you know, that's a limited run of like some Whimsy crocheted gnomes. It's all about, part of it's like fandom. You think about all the stupid stuff that we buy already. Why not buy it for your favorite podcast? So Road to Town Steve Dave Town. We're just gonna hang out. 3 episodes, like I said. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We got Chris working with the social media stuff. We're gonna go hard on promoting this thing a little bit. But kind of give everybody, you guys, just a general idea of what it is that Tom Steve Dave is just a podcast of 3 guys just hanging out, having fun. Their fun turned into a television show in which they ran 7 seasons, 96 episodes on AMC. One of the members of Tom Steve Dave is Brian Quinn from Impractical Jokers, who is, I think, now in their 11th season. They just had a Impractical Jokers cruise that ends tomorrow. So for the last week, Tom Steve Dave and Impractical Jokers have been on the high seas on a cruise ship with 3,000 fans of Tom Steve Dave and IJ. They started off just like we are starting off. It's just to be fair, they had a following through Kevin Smith. But, you know, it's not impossible. They've done a lot of the model that Liam and I are following is kind of that let's just do stuff and have fun and just ask, you know, other people that are interested and passionate about something. We will promote them and we'll just all work together trying to make Whimsy, Chasing the Whimsy, Whimsy Live, whatever it is, the Adventures of Yellowstone. It's all about just having a good time and then just getting our stuff out there and just find something that we're passionate about. Courtney, right? She spends money on stupid robots. It's not stupid. We like that little robot. We had some fun with her on that episode. But maybe instead of like weird, silly robots, maybe we take that money, we invest it into Whimsy. You know, ultimately the goal is to make like my personal goal. I don't even know if I've even mentioned it at all anywhere. Is for Chasing the Whimsy to be self-sufficient, right? There are certain costs that are involved with the podcast, some of the extra help that we want to do with other people. This doesn't really cost all that much. We would like to get some better things. I do need to update my computer. We had ideas for one of the for like an upcoming live stream is to watch old VHSs. This computer is not good enough. I need to eventually invest in a different computer. Telling Steve Dave, Chasing the Whimsy, we're not looking to make hundreds and thousands of dollars. We are just looking to have fun and then invite others to come have fun. And then along the way, let's support each other. Let's consider buying, like, let's produce some books. We got the gnomes, the wooden tokens. They don't do anything, but they're like stupid robots. Instead of buying stupid robots, You know, you collect the 6 wooden tokens that we already have that nobody knows that we have them. It's just about just showing some, your support, and here's a little wooden token to help show that you supported us. And we're not looking for free money. Like we'll give you guys extra content, some extra merch. So we're working on some of those things a little bit more. I had an episode a while ago which I just got irritated with the idea of shilling for money. So yeah, we're having a good time. How long have we been going? How long is like the actual episode now? Is that like an hour? No, wait, hold on. We started at 3. Oh man. What was this? What time is this? 2:51. I think you're frozen. No, hold on. I guess I could have asked somebody to. I think it was like right around 3 o'clock. So all right. So we're like an hour. Perfect. The beauty of this is going to go out as episode 36. This is how easy podcasting has become. You get your kids interested in doing something. I don't even care what it is. I would love it. Find somebody who's passionate about drawing. I would love to, like Sarah's doing all of our webcomics. I got to come up with like script ideas for her. She's drawing them. She's got life happening. There's all kinds of weird shit happening. Sometimes she's just like, I just don't want to draw your silly book right now. I don't want to draw your silly comics. I'm dealing with something. I'm tired. I just don't want to do it. Totally fine. I get that. I don't want to write scripts sometimes. So I'm just like, oh, I don't know, like any of you kids that are artists or any of you parents that are artists, draw some fan art. Like, draw me a couple of gnomes. I would love to see what a 9-year-old looks like when they draw gnomes. Make them do something fun and adventurous. Make them jump off roofs. Having a conversation. I know Cindy, I don't think she's in the chats. Cindy said that she was looking, she talked to her daughter, and her daughter might try and create something. Let's just have some fun, man. Like, let's draw something. I don't know how to draw, so that's why you guys don't get art from Ben. All I know how to do is just talk and have a good time and entertain. So that's what I'm happy and passionate about right now. That's what you guys get. Any of you guys, anybody else that has something fun that you like to do, let's do it. Like, well, I'll hang out with you guys for a little bit. Like, but like I was saying, like the best part about this episode is this is it. This is just get your kids. I don't know. Is it funny to be like record your kids having a conversation not knowing? So like I don't know. But let's find something that we're having fun with, and let's work together and figure it out. Let's see. Anybody in the chat have any questions? How am I doing? Other grandma jumped in and said hi. I think mom's working. Let's see. For those of you who watch any of those live streams, I think the signal I'm going to go with, right? And that's going to be it, right? It's not anything crazy or weird, but she likes to play with my beard. So I figured I'd play with it for a minute. So that's going to be for her. All you guys are like, I don't know what the hell he's talking about. This is why you got to listen to the live streams, right? You got to go back and listen to old episodes. There was a call to action. I needed some help. Oh man, here's where things start to just fall apart. I needed one of these for somebody. She's got one. Hey, is she watching right now? Is she watching? I'm whispering. So what I'm going to try and do is, I was hoping it was going to be here by today. So like on Amazon, here's what fucking bothers me, right? You go on Amazon and they're like, um, you want something, they're like, oh yeah, order within the next 2.5 hours. You can get it overnighted for free for $25 shipping, right? Or with orders over 25 bucks. So I'm doing that. I ordered a couple of things, and then they're like, "Nah, you got to pay $3 for the overnight," and then like now you got to wait until Sunday. So what we're hoping to do is I got some adapters so I can get so my Chromebook only has one USB port, so I bought a splitter to see if I can get an extra USB port so I can maybe get a mouse. And then maybe another micro, I don't know, another camera. How cool would that be? Like camera 1, camera 2, camera 1, camera 2. And then I also bought a microphone that I think I'm gonna try and use. Right now I'm just using the microphone on this guy, on the camera, and or the computer. So it works good enough, and so that's fine. But I bought another microphone that maybe I can keep right over here, or you guys don't, like you may or may not even see it. Hey, Bonnie just got here. She's like, oh, how embarrassing. She's like, I don't even know what the hell this guy is. Like, I haven't talked to this guy in years. He sent me a link. I figured I'd stop and say hi. And now he's talking to me. Now everybody's like paying attention to Bonnie. Oh, that is so funny. Hey, Bonnie. She is a mother of a wrestler also. So she understands how busy it can be for a wrestler. So a quick hello to Bonnie. Bonnie has a kid, a little Ben, who is technically my godson, if I remember this correctly. I don't remember the family tree. So yeah, like we're gonna get her on. We're gonna have her call in one day, sometime soon, and just chat what's going on and be like, hey, I haven't seen you guys in years. I haven't even talked to you guys in years because my life is falling apart. We're slowly getting back to good. Hanging out, we're doing stuff with family. So now we're gonna be like, boom, we're gonna talk to Bonnie, we'll talk to Tara, and we'll catch up and see what it's like to be a mother of a wrestler. And then if we can, I'd like to see what his feelings are about wrestling, and like his commitment. And then yeah, so it'll be interesting. We got 2 wrestlers now within Whimsy. It might be one of those things where Elaine was like, oh, I'll talk to another wrestler, and then they kind of just talk in their secret code, and then now they're best friends. But yeah, that's so cool. Bonnie's hanging out. That's so funny. I love it. She's such a fun person. She's so sweet. Shit, what was I saying before all that? It's just gonna be the Bonnie hour now. We're just gonna hang out for another hour and just talk about Bonnie. Let's see. Oh man. Both named Liam. Yeah. We got wrestlers and Liams. Super fun. She's busy. She's like, I was texting her yesterday. It's like, hey, you should listen. So that way, 1, you can be familiar with whatever the hell we're doing. And then 2, it doesn't look so weird when I ask you to come on. And she's like, I'm busy. She's like, I got the kids. She's like, I got life. She's like, there's teenagers, there's school, there's wrestling, and there's God knows whatever the hell else. And she's like, nah, we'll figure it out. And then she decided, to come on and hang out. So what else is going on? I don't know. Let's see if we can. It was funny because it's like looking at some of those old live streams, and I think we did one last week where I kept it like what was it? Oh, it was Mondays. So I'm gonna do live streams. I think like twice a week. I guess definitely on Monday. This week might be interesting. I don't know when. I like it. I like the whole noon idea. I got some stuff going on at the house where I don't know if we're gonna be able to record. So maybe I'll ask my mom. Maybe I'll record at my mom's. That would be cool. Record at my mom's, and you guys can see her backyard. And then I can like play with the camera with me, take a picture of her. But yeah, she's not doing anything Monday. She likes hanging out with me. Yeah, I'm gonna record at mom's on Monday. But it was funny in these live streams. I was like, how do I talk for 2 hours about God knows what? I mean, at least today was like better because I had it's the episode, so I had a general idea of what the structure was gonna look like. But like when you listen to some of these live stream Monday, like these live streams on Monday, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, man. And then so I look back and I'm like, these things went for like 2 hours and 15 minutes. I'm like, what the hell am I doing for 2 hours? So huge kudos to all of you guys that hang out with me for like an hour and 45 minutes. Super cool. I appreciate you. So Bonnie, I don't know how long you've been hanging out, but basically anybody who comes in and hangs out in the chats, you need to find at least one person to share Whimsy with. And they need to subscribe to the podcast. And then they also need to subscribe to the YouTube. So we got a little bit of homework. I know you're busy. But make sure you're subscribed to the podcast and YouTube, but share it with somebody else, whether it be the kids, the lady down the street, any of the other wrestling moms. We're looking to build a community of a bunch of like, it's a family of families. So we like to just chit chat, find out what kids are passionate about, what they want to do, and find something you're passionate about, something you want to do, and then we just talk about it. Oh shit, we were talking about Amazon. I got there. So yeah, I'm gonna buy a little mic and see if I can get the sound to be a little crisper. And then also I got one that is bi-directional. So it would be good for like with Liam was here. It would get both of our voices because like, oh man, like did anybody listen? Like did anybody listen to last week's episode 35? Like someone give me like an honest opinion of how 35 was. Because I'm like way overcritical of the quality in this, like I'm just way overcritical of things. I think it was not obviously the best episode, but like I'm too close to it. A lot of people are like, oh, it was fine. Like we get it. So I just need someone to help talk me off the ledge that 35 wasn't that bad. But with this new microphone, what would happen is when Liam's off running around doing his thing, this microphone should be able to help pick up more of him so that way he doesn't sound so quiet when I convert it all over. Because the problem is like it's nice, the one-on-one live stream stuff is nice because it's only the one voice. But when I use one microphone for two voices, it's hard to edit it because it only comes across as one WAV file and not two WAV files. So I can't, with the one WAV file, because there's two voices in it, I can't just edit Liam's part. I would have to like drop, it's a mess. Like, I don't like it. What's fun too is Chris, he's slowly coming around. I think, hold on, cancel that. I think what we're going to try and do with Liam is get an idea of what it is that he wants from Chasing the Whimsy. Like I get that he's busy in doing stuff, so he's not able to create episodes with me and outline anything. So we might go back to the early episodes and maybe every other week we do interviews. So now that we're using StreamYard makes interviews a lot easier. We had Chris call in once and it sounds okay. This is how we're going to get Bonnie and Tara to call in eventually, is we'll use StreamYard. And we will, all the family in Texas, I'll use StreamYard. The idea will be, we'll get like an actual Chasing the Whimsy podcast update from Courtney, as far as how she's doing. She's walking, driving. She's almost ready to come back to work. Maybe we'll get some pictures of some of her scars. She sent me a video. It's not the greatest video, but it's a video. Okay, so she's driving, right? Here's the road. So here she is driving, right? There's a video camera from way over here that's catching it, and it shows her on her bike, and then her flying off of her bike. It's interesting. It's kind of but you get to see her kind of. So we'll call her. So I'm thinking like what we might try and do is, because Liam is pretty good when he's talking with other people. You can engage well with a third. Like some of the Megan episodes, like they're good because those two like do their thing. And they work. Yeah, so I'll get with Liam and then we'll just start calling people. How would it be if we did like I know he likes to do the video stuff, but he can't do the video stuff. So what we'll do is maybe we live stream a little bit more, and then it'll take a couple of weeks, but like we put it out in the chats and all the Instagrams and the socials, and then start asking people to send in questions. And then as we do the live stream, obviously we'll take our faces off, and we'll find a different background for you guys. But maybe we do like just an interactive chat episode one day. Any of the interviews, we can have people call in. So now we got those interviews. We'll get the better mics, and now we can hear. I got 3 people. So this is how much. So I was talking with Chris, right? He's like, he doesn't know StreamYard. He doesn't know StreamYard that much because he has other more fancy stuff. And I was like, dude, man, I'm just looking to do stuff for free. So StreamYard's working for me. And as we kind of were talking through this summer camp idea, right? So we want, again, we're reaching out. Anybody whose parents or any kids that listen, we do have I put the analytics a little bit. Like we actually have a few like teen people listening, so that's actually really cool. Anybody who is interested in doing something and speaking passionately about something, reach out, let me know. Chasing the Whimsy would like to host and produce 4 episodes this summer for you guys on your own podcast. We will set up your podcast. We'll get you on all the platforms. We'll work out the images, the descriptions. We'll help upload everything. I just need 2 or 3 people, groups of people that want to make a podcast this summer. We want to do a summer camp idea, and I have Mondays off, so it'll probably be like some kind of like a Monday. But let's get family together. Let's get kids together. Let's find something that you guys can passionately talk about, and let's record a podcast for 4 episodes. Part of the idea would be is like when the kids go back to school, it's like, well, what did you do? And they're like, oh, we want a vacation. And then like little Jimmy is like, I'm a podcaster. I know JJ would love to do that. Like, if you guys listen to his early episodes, he wants to be famous. but now he gets to go back to school after the summer that says, I'm a podcaster. Yeah. Uncle Ben, Chasing the Whimsy, they helped create the podcast. And now all I have to do is record stuff every week and we upload it, and then it's still going. So, yeah, maybe, some early because we had some really good interviews. This, like for episode 37, we got 3 really great interviews, 2 already in the can. I have nothing but hope, like confidence that the 3rd interview will be great. So Liam is improving his interview skills. It might be one of those things where instead of, I know he hates it when I do old man episodes, and that's why we're doing the live stream, is because as I interact with the live stream, I don't sound as depressed. I'm a little blah, but you guys want to know. If I was doing this with the recorders, then I'm here by myself and I sound depressed. But I think we can do some. I know he likes the streaming stuff. I really think we should have, I think last week's episode should have been the campfire stories. And I hate this. I hate that I didn't push for it harder. Lane was like, no, I like my episode. I'm like, it wasn't that good. He's like, no, it's good enough. We had so much fun on the campfire episode. We really should have posted Campfire Friend. It's at 35. But hey, that's what we do. We learn and we grow and we figure it out. Follow us on all the socials. Follow us on YouTube. I know that on YouTube, you hit the subscription button, and then it has the drop down for the notifications. I know that it would be easier to be like, hey, hit the notifications button for all notifications, but then you're getting updates all day from me because I'm posting different shorts and wherever else. That's the easiest way to know that I'm live streaming, is hit the notifications for all, so that way when I go live, there's always a 20-minute lobby. You guys get the update. If you don't like that idea, or if you guys have anything, anybody reach out, anybody. We got a couple of emails last week. Andy updated some stuff on the YouTubes. Email us, worst case, at whimsy@chasingthewhimsy.com. I get updates on it. So I'm pretty good at, I work the 2 jobs, so I'm pretty good about seeing most of the notifications. So it should be more than a couple of hours, if that. But email us, reach out, let us know what you guys are interested in, what you guys are passionate about. Do you guys have anything that you want us to help promote? We got Chris. We're working on a little tab on the website, chasingthewhimsy.com. That kind of helps show what he does a little bit more. We can kind of promote a little bit of him while at the same time making the website a little bit better. I know we're early. I don't know when summer is. I think it's the end of May. So June 1, we want to run a 4-week summer camp for podcasts. Any small group of people, any kids. So parents, if you find something or interested in your kids doing something other than just nothing all summer, and you want to find a way to get them slightly engaged, you want to find you think that they would be, and let's not get crazy. Some of these podcasts are not going to be good. The first couple episodes that we had were not good. It's about finding something that your kids can be passionate about talking about. And then we record it, and then it evolves. That's the fun thing about episode 36, 37 coming out, right? You go back to some of those early episodes, there were train wrecks. Liam's all over the place. It gets better. We get some different equipment. Things are getting different and better, and it's fun to watch that journey. So let's find something that your kids can chit chat about, put it out there, and we'll just watch it can just grow a little bit off or whatever advice that I have. Worst case, it's totally free. I just need time. I just need an hour a week on Mondays ish, to just sit back and watch your kids talk, or you talk, or just whatever it is that you guys want to do. We're giving out, 4 weeks of creating a podcast for you. And worst case, if it doesn't go anywhere, nobody does anything after 4 episodes, as a parent, it would be awesome to know and have access to 4 hours of random conversations from when your kids were like right now, we got Lamb. If the podcast falls apart, we never do it again, when he graduates in 5 years, I have 36 episodes of Liam being Liam as a kid. And there's something awesome about the idea of having these recordings and these these stories. And the podcast, if your podcast doesn't have to be anything specific. Like we'll work out the logistics of it, the topics, the structure. I just need to know who is interested in creating a podcast, and then we'll figure it out. Similar to the way Liam and I did it was, what does the episode look like? What is it about? JJ, Liam, and I want to do a rewatch. So it's like, what does a rewatch look like? As long I just list anything that anybody's interested in doing, let me know. Shoot me an email, and we'll work out the details, the schedules, what it looks like. I can start creating the podcast and stuff. But yeah, this summer, let's create a couple of random podcasts with each other. I don't have to be on it. I mean, I would be on it if you guys wanted me to. But yeah, we'll just figure it out. What else? Shit. I don't know what else. I mean, I plugged the community thing pretty hard. So 37. Everybody who's like, there's only 3 people now. There was a couple of people. Spread the word of Whimsy. Everybody find one person. Tell them to subscribe to the podcast. Subscribe to us on YouTube. If it's like they don't like, just follow. They can turn off the notifications and just find us whenever they're, whatever. Just spread the word. Let's build the following a little bit. Let's reach more people. Let's get we had 11 people on this live stream, which was super cool. Slowly every week we're getting more and more people. So, again, asking everybody who's listening, who's watching this, the rewatch, if you watch it later, I'm talking to you. No, you. Find one person. I mean, obviously you can do more, like find a couple of people, but let's start with one. Find one new person who doesn't know anything about Chasing the Whimsy. Tell them about the podcast, send them some links, tell them to sign up on YouTube, watch them, make sure that they do it. Let's build the community. So we can do, as we build the community, we can do more and different and better things. Huge shout out. We had 2 followers follow us on YouTube in the last 2 hours. So huge thanks for you guys doing your part. Find one more. It's just let's just keep building this thing up a little bit. I think we're going to be done. We're at 2 hours. I realized that I kind of just Monday's live stream went 2:15, and I think I should have ended it at 2. It was just like one of those things where I think I get that there's a lobby for like half hour before we do the live stream, but for whatever reason, I see the ticker up here on the computer that says it hits 2 hours. Yeah, I think 2 hours. I think anything after 2 hours starts to some diminishing returns. Unless anybody has any questions, keep the conversation going a little bit. But if not, I mean, no huge rush. I mean, we can do that on Monday. But I mean, if anybody has any comments, questions, you want to throw in the chat real quick, I'll be happy to comment on them. But otherwise, I think we'll probably wrap up. 2 hours is kind of fun. Half-hour lobby, hour and a half episode. Ooh, that's an hour and a half long episode. There we go. That's what we're talking about. Huge thanks to everybody. Appreciate all you guys do, and keep spreading the word. Chasing the Whimsy, anywhere you listen to podcasts, and YouTube, Chasing the Whimsy. We have all the episodes of the podcast on the YouTube. We have all the live streams that I'm allowed to put up online also. And then we're gonna start creating some gaming content. I found a game that I think I can play on Monday or on a Monday. That'd be kind of cool. Decent soundtrack. It's I Love Hue, Hue. It's a color matching puzzle game, so I figure we can play that. Some cool music in the background, hang out in the chats for a little bit. So maybe we can do that on Monday. But yeah, we're building the YouTube a little bit. And anybody who has the merch that you want to promote, anybody who wants any fan art that you want to submit, you can email us. I would love to see any pictures that you guys draw. So, just thanks for hanging out. Andy, thanks for providing this entertainment for the day. You're welcome. This is kind of what we do. I do have a little bit of work to work on because I got like I said, part 3 of episode 37. I need to work out. I do want to point out the kitchen. How long have I gone without? I didn't even mention the kitchen once. I love the train wreck episodes. I think we all like the train wreck episodes. There's some where they kind of just go off the rails and it turns into something kind of fun. I'll take a train wreck episode versus a lazy phoning it in episode. Like if there was like an episode where I'm just like, let's just do it just to do it. I can't handle that. I can't handle phoning it in, but I can take an episode that we have one direction and it falls all over the place. I think episode 26, 27 was like that when we were talking about Life is Strange. We didn't write that's what we wanted to do. It went off rails and then it turned into something special. It's my favorite episode. Whimsy is Strange. So like there is beauty in a train wreck. But I can't handle the phoning it in. That bothers me so much. The idea that Liam and I phone it in, like the idea that you guys hung out with me for an hour and a half and I just phone it in, like how dare I? Like how dare I, put out a episode or a live stream in which it's just like whatever, and I'm just like, oh, I can't handle that. I think there's what was that first live stream I did with Chris calling in? That was kind of a train wreck because he hates the kitchen. And we talked about it, but I want to point out the kitchen. I rearranged it a little bit. See if you guys ever notice that there's more or less gnomes. I'll throw some more gnomes out in there. But huge thanks to you guys. I closed the cabinet in the kitchen. Thanks to SteamYard for the program, the website that I'm using to record this. So SteamYard, huge thanks. Call out to the kitchen and close the cabinet. Everybody in the chats, huge thank yous for hanging out. I think Andy will get today's there's no gift or anything, but she hung out the longest. She was the first one in, and she'll probably be the last one out. So she hung out with us for 2 hours. Everybody else, it's not a race or who does more. It's about doing something. And I appreciate you guys for hanging out as long as you did. And we shall see you guys. I'll see you guys on Monday for the live stream. We won't re-record a new episode next week because we have the 3 episodes for episode 37. So it'll be interesting. Mom's birthday's next weekend, so you know, we don't want to record on. Oh, well, ironically, we are recording that next weekend for the whatever. It is what it is. But share, tell everybody. Episode 37. Everybody's gonna have a good time with episode 37. I cannot stress enough. I should have talked about it a lot more a couple episodes back. Episode 37 is going to be fantastic. There's going to be stuff for everybody. We got people who do music, who we talk about their family, like the parents' expectations, and like how you feel when you feel like you haven't met your parents' expectations, or what it's like growing up knowing that your parents are the best in their field and you're good at it, but you're nowhere close to the best in your field. We talk about fandom, like how can you build a career just talking about things that you like, and we learn, no, I guess not learn, but we hear about a very unique story of just I like something so much I made a fan website, and how creating a random fan website transforms his entire life, in which he spends the next, what was it? That was in 93. What year are we now? 93. So 30 years. His entire career being around celebrities, being in film, going to cons every weekend, television shows, podcast empire. All of these things came because he created one random fan website back in 92, 93, and his entire life changed. So that story is coming. We got a really fun story that I'm writing now of what's it like hanging out and just doing something that you like with all your friends, how podcasting can be therapeutic for the listeners, for me, for Liam. Huge episode. It's going to be like, it's not all over the place, but there's so much content. Next episode 37, 3 hours-ish long. It's going to be a good time. We're going to have some fun. 3 parts, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'll make sure we tweet it, we follow it. Like the podcast, follow on YouTube. Let's hang, yeah, it's gonna be a fun episode for you guys. But thank you guys for hanging out, and we'll chit chat Monday. I mean, like I said, we'll live stream Monday. But we'll figure it out. We're having some fun. But stay amazing. Appreciate you guys. Whimsy.